Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to interview you today.
Same here too.
Okay, we have quite a handful of questions to ask, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask the questions. Okay, number one question here says that there are two people in a relationship, and one of them seems not to be grounded in the word. So the other party wants to opt out of the relationship, but feels a bit emotional to let go. So what would you advise both parties to do?
First of all, one has to look at how did that relationship come about, because really, what we will certify as pastors as relationship is not just two people meeting themselves, outside, and they said, okay, we enter into a relationship. That is in the church. Unbelievers can do it any way they want to do it, but in the church, a church is a community. A community has a conversation, a lifestyle. And part of what we do as pastors is we help guide people. Now, you can't just call it a relationship until there are certain things that would have, first of all, they would have had to submit it to a spiritual authority. I want to say pastor, and then he will have to interview both of them. Of course, interviewing them, if they are part of the church community or what I call sheepfold, the pastor will even know whether they are ready for that or they are not ready for that. So to begin with, I believe it was started on the wrong premise. That is the reason why we have that clause of one not being grounded or the other one feeling emotional about it. If it was properly submitted, we will not even get there. So I will still advise the person that not just saying I'm going my way, still take it back to your pastor.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that. Then the second question here is it wrong for a boy or a girl to have the opposite sex as a best friend?
The scripture says in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5.
Yes, sir.
There it was Paul who was advising Timothy. Timothy was a young man, can be like every other young man, even though he was a pastor called to the ministry. He was advising Timothy on how to handle the issue of relationship. First of all, with the fathers, he said the elderly men, to handle the elderly men as fathers, the elderly women as mothers, the younger men as brothers, and the younger women as sisters. And then he said, in all purity. That all purity covers everything. That all purity is like what I call it, the platform on which those relationship is supposed to be upon. If it is a sister, now of course we are a community, we are brethren, and if we are brethren, we should relate with one another, but the underlying principle is in all purity. So issue of best friend and maybe not best friend or whatever is still, everything should be brought under the issue of purity, in all purity. When that is the mindset and when that is how the brother or the sister approaches that friendship thing, you discover that nothing will go wrong.
Okay,
because the Lord will just be in it.
Thank you so much, sir.